I'm about 12 years old. Christmas time. I'm in Merida, Venezuela, my hometown. My mom is calling for supper while I'm playing with my friends. Doing some firecrackers. Kid stuff. As we were walking in, I noticed there is way more people in our group that we signed up for, and there's these three men just following us. I'm like, oh. So as we walk into the house, I realize they're armed, and they say, "Hands up, everyone." And I'm like, "Dad, are these your friends? Like, is this a prank?" My dad looked at me, blanked out, like, holy crap. Yeah, I guess the stakes were higher than I thought. And at that point on, I was like, okay, I guess we're on a robbery. And that was my first experience with guns. I thought guns were just for striking fear and doing harm, and I was terrified of them. Little did I know, just a few years later, I was going to have to face this fear again, but in a very, 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 very different circumstance. So picture this. I now go to Pennsylvania when I'm 17 years old as a cultural exchange student, and I arrive in Harrisburg. My host family picks me up, or at least my host mom, brother, little brother, and sister. And then I'm like, okay, I'm in the U.S. This is exciting. It probably looks like Disneyland. Wrong. We go to a cabin in the middle of the woods. It's like the sticks in Pennsylvania. I'm like, okay, this is not what I was picturing, but it's culture, whatever. I'm just here for that and learning English, I guess. First few nights, I tried to close the doors, and they keep telling me, like, we don't lock doors here. It's fine. Everyone knows everyone. And I'm like, no, señor. Like, what's happening here? Yeah, I probably didn't sleep for like an entire week, maybe a little more. Amongst other things, like these Pop-Tarts for breakfast. What is that about? Yeah, I'm like, arepas, arepas, anyone? Like, come on. So anyways, I was just trying to take it all in and, just do my best to, learn the language and the culture. And this brings me to my next point. There is the host dad. Let's call him Joe. Well, Joe didn't live with the family, and he was complete Pennsylvania. This is like, old camo guy, spitting tobacco in a bottle, type of guy. It's like, oh, what's up, son? But that's a terrible accent. Anyways, that kind of guy. Imagine Joe. We'll hang out with Joe, on the weekends, and we'll do all the, the farm stuff, fishing, going on an 8-wheeler, all the fun stuff that we could do at the farm. And he was a man of very few words. I knew him, little, but he was always fine with me. But you would imagine my surprise when one day we were staying at the farm, and he wakes me up in the middle of freaking winter. And he's like, "Son, you're coming with me." Coming where? He brings me to the living room, opens up the gun safe, grabs a hunting rifle. He's like, "Son, we're going hunting. You're going with me, and this is how we bond. Here's a rifle. You've done this before, right?" Holy crap. No. What is it to know? He's like, "Not much to know. You're going to be with me. You're going to be safe. Speaking of safe, here's the safe. Forward is to shoot. Backwards is safe. Here's the trigger. Look through the scope. And when you're ready to shoot, just squeeze the trigger. Don't jerk it, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, okay, I don't know what I got myself into. This is a mistake. I'm going to have to kill Bambi now. Like, I don't know. Like, clearly coming to America was not the thing I was picturing. Like, this is way beyond me. He's like, no, son. We're going to be safe. Let's do this. But I'm like, okay. Okay. So we go to the back of the farm. Winter. We sit on this rock for I don't even know what amount of time. I mean, it was freezing. It reminds me of the first story. I was freezing, guys. And I'm trying to scare the deer. Like, I was also trying to bond with him, but come on. I'm trying to talk to the guy so that, no deer show up. He's like, "Shh. Hey, you're going to scare the deer." I'm like, yeah, secretly, I'm waiting for that to happen. I'm hoping for that to happen. Anyways, we're trying to bond. I guess that's bonding. Anyways, nothing happened. It was very uneventful. He was, a little disappointed, but, we went back to the farm. As I'm heading back, I see my 12-year-old host brother in the barn who had just gotten a deer. No big deal. Just getting a deer, is like, I'm just doing my math homework or whatever. I'm like, okay, what have I done here? But the crazy thing is that at a moment, something, I see what's kind of planted because this little kid is the same age I was when I was first faced with guns. I'm like, okay, clearly, there is two sides to all of this. And, they have been living this way their whole life. I've been living a different way my whole life. So, maybe I don't know everything. That didn't do it, though. I was still not a fan of guns. What did it, though, was a few years back here in Texas, I was dating this chick, really, really hot chick. Anyways, irrelevant. She was into guns, and, somehow it got demystified. I started getting curious. I'm trying to be brave. It just completely demystified the whole thing. I got comfortable. Eventually, I went back to Pennsylvania, and I started hanging out with friends. And they're like, you actually want to go hunting? Oh, let's go. So I started doing that. And it's funny because in one of my recent trips, I found this kid that was kind of close to the family. And somehow I told him this story about like me going with Joe and like, we were freezing our butts in this rock and like blah, blah, blah. And he just started laughing. He's like, so he did that to you too? I guess you're official then. Mind blown. I was like, oh, so Joe does that. And at that point, I was like, okay, I get Joe's true intentions now. He was just not trying to, do something scary or savage or anything. He was just trying to show me, his way and show me his culture, let me be vulnerable and let me know that he had me. And looking forward to this whole story, like, it just makes me realize that, the point wasn't to come home with a deer or anything. The point was to understand, that there is different ways of trust, belonging, and ways of people saying that you belong to them.